The Simone Feiler Podcast, giving authors a platform. Welcome to the podcast.
Leadership champion Sonia McDonald is joining me on the Simone Feiler Podcast. We've just wound up recording Sonia's fabulous audiobook, Leadership Attitude, How Mindset and Action Can Change Your World. And to say I learned a thing or two is definitely an understatement. I'm so thrilled that I had the opportunity to be the first to hear audiobook. Sonia, thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you so much. You were awesome to work with. Amazing. So patient because it's the first time I have done anything like this. So I thought it was going to be easy. And even though it was a little bit more challenging than I expected, I loved it and you made it awesome for me. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for that lovely wrap. That's awesome. But the content was so engaging. Occasionally I was sitting here going, oh, I've got to concentrate on what I'm actually doing because I've got like marking down tips in my head about, my leadership skills. And in particular, when people come into the studio, how I can be a better inspirer, because that's one of the biggest things that I took away from your book, that managers sort of lead, whereas leaders inspire. Yeah. So yeah, that was profound that wasn't today, that was in a session last week. I was thinking, yeah, that's really cool because I've never thought about it like that. But how did the whole book firstly come to be? How did you decide I'm going to write a book about leadership?
That's a great question. I think I've always loved to write ever since I was little. When I started LeadershipHQ, I started it from a blog. So I had a blog called Leadership Headquarters. And then when I decided to start the business, which was from the blog, it kind of just evolved from that when I started the company LeadershipHQ, and after a few years and my passion for writing, and then I kept the blog, which was award-winning, which was really exciting. I sort of thought, why don't I really now start to think about writing a book? It took me a lot longer than I expected. I think because I thought, oh my gosh, it's like your first book. What happens if it sucks? But no, I'm really proud of it. Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah, excellent. And you've got a couple of others that you've also released. So hopefully you'll come in and do them in audio as well.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
But there's so much to begin with. I mean, I can talk to you about the book, and break that down chapter by chapter. But I would highly recommend, if you want to be a very good leader and have leadership skills that take you above and beyond into the future, then Leadership Attitude is definitely a start. Did you have anyone in mind when you wrote the book?
Oh, yeah, I think it was a book I wanted for my younger self. So I think if I could go back in a time machine, I'd definitely say to my younger self to start learning this space now, because it wasn't until I started teaching it and coaching it and living and breathing it that I thought, oh my gosh, I wish I knew this when I was a teenager or early on in my career. And because I don't tend to teach it at university or at school, I think things have changed now. But when I was at school at university, it wasn't really at the forefront of teaching you how to be a great leader and be a great human. It was more that technical skills and capabilities. And so probably for future generations, but anyone could read it. Like I've had parents say their kids have read it. I've had CEOs read it. I've had executives read it. I've had people, emerging leaders read it that have all got something really great out of it. So I think it can be for anyone, but I probably did write it for my younger self or for those emerging leaders.
Yeah, I found that it's really personal. Like, so I think you can almost tell that you're writing it for yourself because it really speaks to you, as a listener, from what I've just experienced then. So, okay, let's go way back. How did the whole leadership thing come about? How did you decide because you own your own company, you were saying, Leadership Headquarters. How did all of that come to, and you're a public speaker. There's so much background. There's so much background.
How did it come about? It came about by accident.
Serendipity.
Serendipity. Came out with serendipity. I think it was, gosh, I don't even know where to start. I think, my career and experience was in people and culture. So I went to university and did human resources and psychology, and then had a career in HR. And then when I was living and working in China, I followed my husband's career and we moved over to China, and with my daughter at the time, who was only little. And whilst I was over there, I thought to myself, I thought I could be a full-time mum over there, and I was enjoying like living in another country and and being a mum. But I thought, I really did want to go back to work. So I ended up getting a part-time job as a management consultant, and I was promoted to the Asia HR leader for this company. And then my whole world fell apart, and I had to pack up everything, come back to Australia with my daughter. It was a really, really challenging time for her and I just couldn't find a job in HR. I think I went for 40 interviews.
Wow.
And it was, as soon as the single mum card came up, it was, we can't really offer flexibility. And this was a long time ago. This was like 17 years ago. And I thought to myself, how am I going to survive? Like, how am I going? And then I met someone that worked in the leadership development space on construction sites. And I went for the interview, and he said to me in the interview, do you know much about leadership? And I said,
yes, everything.
Everything. I know so much about leadership. So I faked it.
Yeah, you'd have to after getting that many knockbacks. You're going to, yes, I can.
I was like, I can do this. But
had you worked in construction, like in that space? Yeah.
No, I hadn't worked in that construction engineering space before. However, I had to kind of call into my inner courage, and I just loved it so much, like working with these teams and leaders and humans on construction sites. And they were great at building roads and bridges, but not so great when it came to leading others to build roads and bridges, which I get it, right? They were taught different skills. They had different tools in their toolkit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Not the people leadership skills. So having that trusted advisor there was amazing. So, yeah, that's kind of how it all started. And then I started a blog and turned the blog into a company.
Excellent. So did you get advice to turn it into a company, or were you just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to start this thing and, yeah.
I wish I'd got advice, to be honest. Like, looking back, I probably should have got a lot more advice, particularly around accountants or, people that help you set up a business. I really did jump off a cliff at the time. I just thought, I can do this. I was probably, before I started the company, I called myself the flip chart queen. I had flip chart all over my home office. And then for a year, I just wrote down loads of different ideas around, like, I call it ikigai. My ikigai, like, it's a Japanese concept, and it's what are my strengths? My strengths and talents. What am I passionate about? What does the world need? What am I going to get paid for? Yeah. Like, that purpose. And I kind of went, well, my strengths and talents are teaching and speaking and helping others, like being a coach and being a cheerleader. And the world needs more leaders and more leadership. And I'm really passionate about leadership. Oh, okay. Well, that's my ikigai, and that's why I started it. Yeah.
Well, you're obviously doing really well, because you've got 3 books out, you're running Leadership Headquarters, you are doing public speaking. You're a busy girl, a busy woman.
Busy woman.
Yeah.
Busy girl. Yeah, I'm very, I work really, really hard, super hard.
Yeah, and I see you on TikTok and you're on Instagram. And have you come a way since then? Have you got the team around you now?
I do. It's growing. Like, I do have other coaches and facilitators now, which is so great, because I am an entrepreneur, and as much as my team love me, they do think that I come up with way too many ideas, and I'm always thinking of new things that I can do and create.
Yeah.
I'm really, I call us a small giant. So we're actually very small, but I think we have a giant impact.
Yeah.
And I've had now LeadershipHQ for 16 years now. We just had our 15th birthday.
Oh, congratulations. That's outstanding.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. That went really quickly. So there was times where I really wanted to grow it. And now I actually now look back and think of where we are today and go, I actually like the fact we're a small giant. And I think that's why people keep coming back to us, because we really get invested and really care about the work we do. Yeah. And so we're not like a big accounting firm with a big ego. I'm not saying that they do, but we really care about and get really invested in working and helping, organisations really grow and be successful. So, yeah.
So if anyone's listening today, what sort of stuff do you do that can help businesses grow? You might be a giant after all after this.
A giant. I'm
inspired to work with you after listening to your book.
Oh, thank you. That's really lovely.
Yeah.
Actually, we do have a lot of people that do reach out to us. I wish I had, again, if you're listening to this, we do have lots of people wanting to do great things because it just, the thing is, we work with so many companies and they have all the greatest strategies in the world. And I think if you don't have your leadership sorted, like the culture eats strategy for breakfast and the leaders lead the culture, but it also starts with you. Like, how are you leading as a CEO? How's your executive team leading? And do they have the skills and capabilities to lead? If I hear another story of a CEO or a leader that does not actually value leadership, honestly, it does my head in when I hear these stories because I think...
Well, you're supposed to be a leader.
Yeah, aren't you? And people can notice it. They see it. So I think really wherever you are in your career, in your life, particularly if you are leading a business or an organisation, it's a real honour and responsibility. So please be a great leader, be a great human. Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. So one of the last chapters, or towards the end, you were reading to me from your book, saying that leadership is also about people's differences, because you keep bringing it back to not only being a great leader, but being a great human, and where does that start? It starts from embracing your uniqueness and your difference rather than going, oh, I need to fit in. I need to assimilate and fit in.
Yeah.
So, what do you say to people that are sitting there thinking, I have these capabilities, and rather than telling no one, I should shout them to the world?
We've only got one life then to do it. I think so many, it's like that Marianne Williamson quote that I have in the book around, we're more afraid of our light than we are our darkness, right? Is that we only have one life and we're unique and different for a reason. So it's really about embracing that and not caring about what other people think.
Yeah.
And I think we can get, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at that. Like I have been beaten down sometimes by people's comments. And I wish now I'd go back to my younger self and shake her and go, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, just row your own boat and embrace what makes you different and unique.
Yeah.
So many people even today say, oh, you should look at what other organisations are doing.
Yeah.
And that.
People say that to me. It's like, no.
Exactly. Why would I put my focus there? Why would you? Right?
Yeah. It would just take away from everything I'm doing. I would firstly not focus on what I'm doing, focusing on what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's attention goes, energy flows. So put your attention on what makes you rock and really embrace that. Yeah, it's really important.
I think we're all born with a unique gift, and it's just a matter of, instead of looking elsewhere for it, you should just really look within.
Yeah.
Go into that silence and find it. It'll come.
Yeah.
That's how it happened with me with my audiobooks. It was like, it was divine intervention, basically saying, you got this, just do it.
Because how long have you had your business for?
7 years.
Oh, well done. You should be really proud of yourself.
Yeah, I am. I love it. I mean, I get amazing people like yourself coming to read, so I absolutely love it.
I can tell.
But like you said, when you're starting, it's like you're standing on the edge of a cliff going, oh, am I really going to do this? And then you start out doing every single aspect of the whole thing and building it up. But yeah, I mean, your book has been really invaluable because the information really grounds you as a person and, shines that light to let you see that you can be a leader. And I'm not just talking about people managing, a leader in your own life.
Yeah.
A leader for your children, a leader for your house, a leader, you know what I mean?
In all aspects. I think that's where people get caught up, that it is about this whole role title, leadership's just about at work. And I think even when I run our coaching or leadership programs and when I frame it like that, people in the room go, oh, and then they become a lot more committed to it, because as I'm saying, they're not committed to it if it is kind of from a work perspective, but normally you find organisations invest in someone's leadership development and it's more of a company program. And so they think it's best for company, and it's when they're in the room, I go, no, it's best for company, but it's also best for you. It's best for your family. It's best for everyone out there that you can make a difference to. Yeah. So I think that's when they, especially, I'd have to say, I find the feedback I get, even parents or people that are mums or dads or guardians, whatever, they actually come back to me and go, this has made a huge difference to my role as a mother or a father as well. So that's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful, getting that feedback. How can people find out more about you? I mean, if they want to engage you to do public speaking somewhere or want to do workshops, what's the best way to go about it?
Definitely the website, soniamcdonald.com.au or leadershiphq.com.au as well. But all the social media, I'm on.
You're Sonia McDonald on TikTok? I love it when your TikToks come up.
Do you?
It's like, Sonia, yeah, you're awesome.
I don't know. I'm still playing around with TikTok.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm on TikTok, I love following all the different travel things. So now I'm getting all the travel, all the travel things, and I really love all the travel. Like, go to this restaurant and all this like random things you wouldn't know about. But no, I really I want to try. I am inspiring, and I want as many people to see their inner leadership and greatness. So I just thought, TikTok's a great way of inspiring people to be more and do more and learn more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's also inspiring in itself, you getting on there and doing that, because I think great leaders or people that want to, do well with whatever it is they find, that spark, is that they've got to get out there and tell people about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so.
You got to have a voice. I think that's really important, that voice. And so many people say to me, you're doing that just to promote yourself. And I'm like, no, I do it for you. Like, obviously you have to blow your own trumpet and you have to promote yourself because obviously you're running a business, but I do it for others. Like, I don't, if I was constantly doing it for myself, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. And also as well, I just don't think people buy that. Like, people are really smart and they can sniff in if you're not being authentic.
Yeah.
And if it's about you, you've got to keep it authentic. Sorry.
That's all right. It's pre-recorded.
That's good. I got a bit of a head cold, so I've got the Vicks happening. So I'm
hanging on to it for dear life.
I know, because I'm trying to, my nose is running. So, sorry about that.
I think that's probably the call to let you go now, so I don't get that thing. It has been such a pleasure. I can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed your book, because you were like, that's awful, but you did a great job. And I do think you've got a wonderfully engaging, captivating voice. It's interesting.
Oh,
I really like you.
Oh, thank you, ditto. It was, I think it was more, it's a bit of that imposter syndrome. I think we all get it, and I definitely suffer from it as well. And I think the key to growth and leadership is being uncomfortable. And I think, because I wrote this book such a long time ago, and it was actually really cool reading it aloud and reading it again. And funnily enough, I was running a leadership program last week in Brisbane, and they all have a copy of my book, and so many of the people in the group, and I didn't tell them I was doing it as an audiobook, and then they were like, can we listen to this in the car? Because we're in the car. Like, have you got it as an audiobook? And I went, funny you should say that. I'm about to. And they're like, yay! And I went, that's interesting, because no one else has really asked me before. But
awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for being so awesome with it. You were just amazing to work with.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right. So website, leadershiphq.com.
Yeah, leadershiphq.com.au, soniamcdonald.com.au, and definitely all the socials, definitely on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I post a lot on LinkedIn, but that's a lot. I post a lot of really great leadership insights, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X. Now it's called X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. So look up Sonia McDonald or Leadership Headquarters.
Yep. Excellent.
Thank you. It's been such fun.
Yeah, thank you again. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining the Simone Feiler Podcast.
What's your story?
Contact Simone for a chat at brisbaneaudiobookproduction.com.